I'm Jocelyn Rios from Funimation, and this is One Piece at a Time. I'm your host and a social media producer. And in celebration of the One Piece anime's 20th anniversary, I'm watching the show for the first time, and every week, a seasoned fan rewatching the series will join me in exploring each episode following the Merry Route binge guide. So come on board on this adventure starting right now. We have a special announcement for all Straw Hats attending Anime Expo this week in LA. We'll be there too. The One Piece at a Time podcast is going on the road, and we want you to join us. We'll be at Destination Funimation at the Lucky Strike LA Live, where we'll be live recording a bonus episode of the One Piece at a Time podcast. So join me, Jocelyn Rios, other Funimation One Piece fans, English voice actors, and special guests on Saturday, July 6th at 3 p.m. as we recap our favorite One Piece moments from the Merry Route so far. Come say hi, and you may even win a prize. You can find all the details and the rest of our Anime Expo schedule on our blog at funny.to/funax2019. And don't forget to follow us on social media at One Piece Official on Facebook and One Piece Anime. So welcome back to One Piece at a Time. I want to welcome also Jonna, who's here with us again. Jonna was with us on episode 5, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Jonna's going to be joining our rotating hosts. So you guys are going to listen to her every few weeks along with MJ. For the last episode, which was episode 24, we learned about Nolan's real story.
Super cool.
Yeah, right? He wasn't a liar at all.
No.
Yeah, and also he was like very adventurous, which was never presented in the beginning. We think like it's a story for kids,
right?
And all
and
that.
We suddenly see he's like a real person with a full like personality and everything.
Yeah. We also learned why the bell was so important to the Shandorians, like the whole thing that it calls to their ancestors, and it also like proclaims Shandora. It was
epic.
Yeah, super deep. By the time that ended, the episode ended, we see Luffy is relentlessly trying to defeat Eneru and ring the bell for Cricket. And on this episode, we finally reach the conclusion of the Skypiea arc, and we get a preview of the crew's next adventure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's get going. Starting with episode 192, Miracle on Skypiea, the love song heard in the clouds.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so right off the bat, we're seeing Nami just taking off on this, what are they called? The waivers?
Yes.
This little, like I call it a motorboat because that's basically what it is. But she is like killing on that thing. I love that. And she just takes off and is going like vertical on the giant jack thing.
Yeah, and the giant jack is falling.
And it's falling as she's doing it. Like she's a stunt driver. Okay, and then like Luffy's just hanging on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I love that.
That
so
was
much.
epic. And when the last episode ended, when they started going up Giant Jack, when it ended, I was like, no.
I know. You're like, no, not yet. Not yet. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, when this episode began, I was like, I was ready. I was ready to see what was going to happen.
Yes.
So we see Eneru is just destroying Shandora. And at this point, like, I start getting like a lump in my throat because we see like all the people just watching the destruction and not being able to do anything about it.
At this point, it's kind of like in God's hands, literally at His mercy kind of thing. And that's really heartbreaking. I think that's what like Robin and Wipe kind of reflecting on, just like the greatness of His power and stuff. Like it's crazy. Yeah,
and what this destruction is gonna cause, like this ancient city that means so much, is just gonna be destroyed. Yeah, and Wiper, since they think their ancestors come back to this land, it also has such a deep meaning. And I think even Wiper says something like, Shandora was home to a proud race of warriors and their memory protects the city. As all of the lightning is falling down, and I'm like, but is it really? Like, is it gonna protect it? Like,
yeah. No, it's crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think, was it Grand Fall or someone was like kneeling down and praying at that point?
Yes. A lot of people pray, but I think Connis is the one that begins it. I'm not sure. But I think she's in the Mary by herself.
Yeah, she's in the Mary praying at one point. Either way, it doesn't matter who it is. All of them, like, they have this perception of like who God is this whole time, and suddenly they've just completely given up that sort of belief of like, is it this Eneru guy or who is it? Because Grand Fall used to be considered God of that area. So it's like now suddenly they're praying to who?
Yeah,
and they're truly just honestly just hoping that this whole thing gets fixed by someone. Oh, wait. I think I was saying Grand Fall. It's Ganfall. Yes, my bad.
So Luffy finally makes it. He drops Nami on a cloud and he jumps at Eneru, finally. The final showdown begins. And I feel we've come such a long way since we started this arc. The first time Luffy met Eneru a few episodes ago, where Eneru realized that lightning doesn't do anything to Luffy.
Right, and he lost his stuff. Like, he was just like, what?
Yeah.
That face.
His face, yeah. But still, Luffy wasn't able to defeat him, even though he was made out of rubber. So here we go again, and we're all like, oh, is it gonna end?
Right, what is his plan this time?
I don't know. Now that you say that, I don't even know if Luffy planned this.
I don't think he ever plans anything, to be honest. That's true. That's a fair call. But I think this time it was super cool because basically he uses what Eneru tried to trap him with. He got that gold sphere stuck to his arm.
Yeah.
And then you would think that's going to slow him down. Then Luffy is like, no. I'm just going to use this.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's when we see the Gum Gum fireworks move. I think he shouts peony, which is like the flower shape that the move makes. Like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if I heard him right, that's what it was, and it's super cool because you do see this sort of shape with his arm, his new arms just going everywhere and like swinging this thing around. It's really cool because you see Nami on the cloud freaking out, and you know that Nami, she understands weather. Like she knows this lightning is gonna kill. And then suddenly, like we see Luffy, and he's using this gold as like a conductor, and basically swirling up this whole terrible cloud and dispersing all the lightning.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, dang, like, does he know his physics?
Yeah,
stuff?
right?
Like, what?
Yes, Luffy will have moments where you look at him doing something and you think, well, he had to think about this.
Yeah, did he know? Like,
right. Like, he had to have some realization that maybe if I do this is a conductor, right? Because last time I did this other thing. And then you're like, oh, Luffy, of all the silly things that you do, like, you do very smart.
Thing. Yeah.
You do very smart
like,
stuff.
dang, Luffy, okay? Like, he knows what he's doing. All right.
Yes.
So he clears the sky, which is a really epic moment because that's just like, it's just completely clear and you're like, whoa. Yes,
and the light falls down on everybody after all the darkness.
Exactly.
After he clears the sky, breaks up the thunderhead, Eneru still like takes his last stand and he's like, you're a mere Parmesia? I think is it called like that? The devil fruit kind?
Paramecian?
Paramecian, exactly.
I think that's how you say it, yeah. And he's saying how he's like a Logia type.
Exactly, and he's better, and there's no way that Luffy...
God complex, basically.
Exactly.
Just thinking he's better than everyone.
Exactly.
And then like putting Luffy on this trident, which, you know, that's again like Poseidon-y, kind of like all this God-related stuff and thematic themes with Eneru, which is cool. It's a really cool sort of mix of religions in this whole arc.
Yes.
But yeah, and he's on that ship labeled God and it has like this, I don't really know what religion, it may be like represents like a Buddhist sort of religion, like face on that ship.
Yeah,
all of that is super cool. And then Luffy just in his clutches and just reaches back with this big old golden arm. Yeah. And then that's when he lets it go, and he straight up punches Eneru through into the bell. Right? Yeah. He hits the bell with Eneru.
Yeah. Literally just punches him to the bell.
Couldn't be more epic than that.
And he gets like a really cool flashback we see to Kalgara and Noland and Cricket and all the people who have been waiting for this bell to ring all of this time. Yeah, and we see the others wake up, the ones who were knocked out, like Zoro, Robin, Chopper. So just as Eneru is finally getting beaten, they all wake up and they hear the bell ring. And that's where it ends. It was great, that ending, I feel.
That was really satisfying to see all of that. After all the time that they were on Skypiea, and finally it's just hit the bell and that's it.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is like this isn't even the first time that Luffy, you know, rings a bell and it's like an important thing in the series.
Yeah.
So just a little hint. No, it's coming.
Oh, it's
later.
Coming. Oh, okay.
So I won't tell you any more than that. I'm not going to spoil any more.
Gotcha.
Like Luffy and ringing bells, that's a thing.
Moving on to the next episode. The battle ends. Proud Fantasia echoes far. We begin right where we left off. Let it ring. Luffy's just yelling, let it ring. And it's echoing through the land. And even down below, like Cricket and all those guys hear it too. Which was the reason.
Yeah.
What did you think about that when Luffy said, you know, he wanted to ring it for those guys. Because Luffy always has, like, his own motive, right?
His own motive. And then it's like, and it's so sweet of him to think of, you know, this person he met who helped him, you know, get to Skypiea and everything. And it was just like to really take to heart. Basically, like, Luffy protects people's dreams. And dreams is kind of like a big thing in this conclusion part right here.
Yeah.
He believes in following dreams. And so, you know, one of Cricket's dreams, his main dream, his goal was to just know the answer about his ancestor. Like, was he lying? Was he not? And to hear that bell, that would complete his dream.
Yeah.
Dream come true. And, like, of course, Luffy is just, yeah, of course he would do it, you know? So cool.
Yeah. That's his thing. Like, if he can do something to help someone achieve their dream, he's just gonna do it.
Right. Like, each of the Straw Hats has theirs, and, like, he has his. Like, it's a big thing.
And we learned something here.
Yeah?
We learned that the giants that we saw at the beginning, like at the very beginning of this arc.
Oh my gosh, yes.
They're actually the shadow of the sky people.
Yes, what a silly thing. But yeah, it's just sky people standing in front of the sun, and then you see their shadow in the fog, and it's like, oh, there must be giants.
Yes.
Psych, it's sky people. Like,
when that part came on, I was like, I had this super aha moment because I had completely forgotten.
Right,
about
right. You totally forget, and then it's like, oh, by the way, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Luffy, like, I think it's a little later on, but yeah, Luffy's shadow, like, he jumps out there, and then, like, it's just like a perfect Luffy shape, and it's just like, hey, I'm here, it's me, being a giant shadow.
It's great.
It is.
The battle is over. The battle is finally over. And now that it's over, it turns out everybody was alive this whole time. I was wondering if all these people were going to be dead because they went through all these ordeals and all these battles. I don't remember the count, but I think it started with 500 people or something like that. And then they were, you know, getting down up until there were like 5 left. Then there was just Nami left.
Right.
And I was like, what is going to happen with all these people?
Sort of like battle on Upper Yard and everything, and you're just like, what? Yes, and everything turns out way better than we thought. Definitely. So everybody's fine, and even Wiper, whom we've seen that he used the reject dial a couple of times. Yeah,
so
which was supposed to like kill him, basically.
Yeah, basically. And that last time that he used it to take Giant Jack down,
to blow the hole through it. Yeah,
I really thought, well, this is it. This is where Wiper dies.
Bye, Wiper.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he's alive, and Chopper treats him.
And they were questioning at first. They're like, would you really, you know, treat him and everything? And it's like, you know, I think it was Zoro who was like, no, I mean, you know, we don't know what these people were about. So yeah, I thought it was very cool.
Agreed. Zoro tells Chopper, don't tend to me, like, go take care of that guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm fine, but I don't know about that guy.
Yeah.
And they were battling, right? Yeah. And so it's just like, wow. Such great people.
Yes. We see Usopp, who they were considering going to look out for treasure, and Usopp's like, no, I'm good with the gold. I want dials, which is pretty smart. Like, dials are something you can't get in the Blue Sea. So
right. It is smart. Like, I really, you know, props to Usopp for kind of just seeing that and, like, realizing, like, no, this is like a power. It's not just money. It's a power.
And you can't get it. Like, we're here.
You're here.
It was super difficult to get here.
Dude, okay, if you could have a dial, what would you get? What kind of dial would you want?
Great question. Let me think. I mean, the reject dial is super useful.
Super cool.
Yeah. I think there was one that harnessed, I don't know if it was heat or something.
I think so. Something like that.
And they used it, like, for fires or stuff like that. So maybe that one. Definitely the ones for the waivers.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, those are so cool. Like the breath ones, or I forgot what the term for it is, but yeah, something like that. Like they just like blow out air and you can fly.
Which one would you want?
I think probably one of those, except I also really liked, like, there's this one scene when Usopp has the recording dial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was the best, because even I, like, watching that episode, I was like, damn, did they really just, like, repeat the same line over and over again? Like that.
I fell for it too.
I fell for it too. I fell for it too, and then he's just hitting it, and it's really funny because, like, they don't have, like, that's One Piece. You don't have recording machine. You don't have machines.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just have little snails that do it.
Those weird snails. They are so creepy. Don't you think? I think they're creepy.
I think they're cute, but it is a little creepy. Just imagine, working in a garden and a little snail comes by and you're like, you're listening to me. Yeah. This is a two-way phone call. What? Like,
oh my God.
Or it just starts ringing at you and you're like, hello?
Yes.
It's my garden phone. Conus and Luffy, they come out with like all the food and stuff.
Yes, they come back and meet with everybody. Nami, Conus, and Luffy. Mm-hmm. As Conus is going to explain to everybody her dad saved her and died, we see that he comes out.
He's just like, oh yeah, that is so sad. Like behind all of them, he's just like, there you are.
So, he's alive.
He's alive. I was so happy too. I was so relieved.
I was happy for Conus.
Right.
Her dad is weird.
It's so funny. He's funny.
And then we see that Eneru is also alive.
Yes.
And I was at first when I saw him, I was like, wait, no. Like, this is over, right? Like, this is where the arc ends. But yeah, he didn't meet with anybody. He just said that, he was just going to go to a new kingdom, I think he says.
This was a very interesting part. Eneru is basically, he's talking about the eternal Varth. And for a while, we're like, what is this Varth thing? It's kind of like the word earth with a V in front of it. So you're like, what is this? Like, that's where he wanted to go all along. And so as he's flying away on his ship, you see in front of him the moon.
Yeah.
So we learn that the moon is this...
Is that where he's going?
That's where he's going.
Oh, I thought, because since he wanted to go to the Blue Sea before, whenever he spoke before about Verth, I was like, well, he just wants to go down there because that's where the land is,
Right.
But then...
It makes sense.
But then... That makes sense because the moon has no water. It's just
exactly.
Earth.
That is why it's eternal, because there
Gotcha.
are no islands and pockets surrounded by water. It's just eternal land all the way around. Right? So it took me a while to catch that too, and I think the first time I watched it, I didn't quite get it. I was like, where is he going? It's just a poetic moon.
Right, that's what I thought.
No. And this is the thing I was saying before about dreams too, because this is the one, he literally describes it as the land of dreams. So even Eneru, the villain, has a dream. And they show him achieving it.
Wow.
So he heads up to that dream. So this is where it gets kind of funny. So they don't show this in the anime as far as I can remember. So in the manga, the One Piece manga, the cover pages tell stories.
Right.
So one of the cover page stories is about Eneru. Where does he go?
Oh.
And it's literally about him going to the moon.
Wow.
The moon is literally, it's part of the One Piece story, the One Piece world.
Wow.
So
what does he do?
This is where it's crazy, guys. So he goes to the moon and he meets these little, they're like little robot people there. Like little shenanigans happen. He sort of blasts through into the moon, and they find this sort of underground cave area, something like that, this underground city, and his powers kind of start up the city, and he's looking at the runes on the wall. This is I love this part. So he's looking at the runes on the wall, and they show some of this is kind of just how I understood it, but there's this picture of 3 different people that have wings. And it's kind of like the Shandorians, and then the people of Skypia, and then a third, which I believe is called the Barkans, and I believe that's what Eneru is. I'm not totally clear on that. Yeah, you guys can look it up and look up all the lore if you want, but and definitely look at these cover pages on the manga because it's funny. Because basically it implies that the Skypians and all of them, they originally came from the moon.
Oh, wow.
Fell to the planet. And some of them landed on Skypia, and then some of them went further to Jaya, which had the Shandorians. Yeah, Shandora.
So even more world opening.
Right.
Wow.
Right. It blows your mind because then Eneru, he turns around and he sees all these little robot people around him, and they're his followers. He kind of just has this. I took it as he kind of just gets the God moment that he wants. Yeah, that's how I took it. So
wow, that's pretty cool.
Really cool.
That is so cool.
My knowledge on that is not as in depth as it should be. Definitely encourage people to go look up more of that because it's really cute and funny.
Yeah, that is amazing. So that's never on the show.
I don't believe so.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody is celebrating together, and that's where we see the end of the story.
That's it. Well, With a few, the prizes, the fun stuff, the after stuff to come.
Yeah, exactly. On home video, One Piece Adventure of Nebulandia is available now on Blu-ray and DVD. You can watch it dubbed for the first time, and it comes with an exclusive interview with the English cast, Ian Sinclair, the voice of Brook, and Michael Johnson, the voice of Kome. Also, One Piece episode of East Blue is now up for pre-order. It'll be coming out September 24th, also dubbed for the first time, with an exclusive 20th anniversary documentary featuring the English cast and the Funimation crew. You can get them both at funimation.com/shop.
I made it here. The yarn, the poneglyph spin. So cool.
Yes, I love this episode because it explains at last something about the poneglyphs.
Yes. Ooh, I get chills just thinking about it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. First of all, we start off with Luffy, who is planning. He's waking up Nami. He's like, hey, look, like, I got a plan. And he wants to tell her, like, they're going to go steal gold from the snake. But of course, they have to be really darn loud.
Yeah.
And wake up everyone who's been apparently partying for, like, what, days?
Yeah, days.
Yeah.
I think they say 5 days.
5 days.
Something like
yeah.
that.
And I'm like, dang, guys, okay.
By the way, do you watch the sub, right?
I watched the dub.
You watched the dub. Okay.
I watched the sub long ago, but
now you're rewatching the dub.
Rewatching the
okay.
dub.
Just wanted to know, because I know MJ watches the sub, I watch the dub, so I just wanted to know, the differences.
All of it is good.
Yeah, everything's
so
great. Yeah.
I know. That scene was really funny when they're just yelling at each other about trying to be secretive and steal the gold.
Yeah.
A solid plan, though. I mean, that snake is dead asleep, so might as well. It's got all that cool stuff in his belly. Come on, he ain't using it.
We see a very cool bit. I really enjoyed this part, where the Shindorians are trying to pull the bell out of the
giant jack.
Yeah, but they need a lot of people because it's super heavy, and the Skypians come on and help them, and they all get the bell back together.
Yes, a beautiful moment.
It is, and so symbolic too. I feel
really symbolic of just how far they've come, and really tore down their differences. Yeah. It's super beautiful.
And then Usopp starts trading with the Skypians.
Oh my
god! This is hilarious because he starts showing them his rubber band.
Yes.
And he's like, this is a rubber band.
Yeah, look at this, stretching it out. Like, look at this.
And nobody else has them in the world but me.
Right? He even offers them like some cool like metal scraps, and they're like, no, we want the rubber band.
Yeah.
He is such a clever salesman, which is okay. So it's actually funny because this again shows up later in the manga. They do like the cover stories sort of portray what happens with this. So yeah, Usopp and his little rubber band are important. I don't want to totally spoil it doesn't really come back again in the anime, I don't think, but basically it becomes a big old thing on Skypiea.
Oh my god.
Is rubber bands.
Really? So they become the new thing.
They make a rubber band land.
Oh,
basically.
Wow.
It's like a whole park or something. It's so cute. I love it.
All thanks to Usopp.
All thanks to Usopp and his clever tricks.
I do have to say that every time he goes like, Usopp rubber band of doom, I laugh my ass off.
Oh my gosh.
Like, no matter when he does it.
Oh my god. Usopp. Oh, he's great. So then after that, this is where Robin walks in all cool like, because they're like, oh yeah, these are ancient like glyphs, hieroglyphics or whatever. We can't read this. And then Robin's like, let me tell you what it says. Excuse me. I love Robin, just so you know.
Me too. I have to say that when this Alabasta arc ended and we find out that it's her, the next member, and not
Vivi, Princess Vivi.
I was heartbroken.
Right.
So by default, I was like, I don't like you, Robin, because I like Vivi better.
Right, I know. I felt the same way too. I remember feeling that my first time watching it through, and then I realized, like, slowly, like, Robin grows on you. And, like, you gotta understand, Luffy trusts people for a reason. Like, you gotta start, like, you gotta learn to trust Luffy's gut, even when you think he's wrong. No, I mean, it always ends up right.
Yeah, so slowly I figured out how badass Robin was.
So cool.
Yes.
So yeah, she comes in here and reads off the poneglyph, and this is the cool. So I wanted to hear your take on this, because this is you like learning about the world.
So I had to go back actually and I watched the whole thing. I had to go back and rewatch. I really wanted to take in the explanation because it didn't really... I still think it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like
It's fair.
You know, as I learn more about it, it'll probably click on my mind. What I figured out is, so she reads the poneglyph, and it's about Poseidon. That's another ancient weapon, just like the one that she read about Alabasta. And then, but there's another message on the poneglyph, and it's from Goldie Roger, and it says, "Guide this passage to the end of the world," and his name is there.
Yeah.
So she figures out that there's like different kinds of poneglyphs, and some have information, some have directions. So she figures that he was here too, and that this poneglyph is the beginning of a thread.
Right.
That leads to another poneglyph and another and another and another, and they all come together to reveal some kind of information about
the blank century. Yes. So you did a great job. You did a great job understanding that.
I was like even now as I say it to you, it doesn't even make a lot of sense to me.
I can totally understand that because, you definitely don't, you just don't know at this point. You're not really supposed to know. You're just supposed to know that the world is even bigger than you thought. Like the thing with the poneglyphs is an important thing that ties to Gold Roger. So first of all, like it mentions Poseidon being some sort of ancient weapon, and you do get to hear about that later. That's elaborated more in another arc. I'm trying to like not spoil anything. When she reads, essentially it's like Gold Roger saying Gold Roger was here. But that's how I took it, because basically
smiley face.
that's when you realize that Gold Roger knew the language of the poneglyphs. That was a moment when you're just like, what? Yeah. Because it was really only Robin and her people who knew it, but he could read and write it. What the hey? Like, oh my gosh, how does he know this? Yeah. And so the comment he says is he's going to guide this path to basically the end of the world, the island called Raftel, which Robin mentions very briefly. The island of Raftel is the one where at the end of the world, we suppose One Piece, the One Piece is there, or that's what it is. But basically, the poneglyphs, there is a sequence of them that sort of lead to it. It is a little bit cryptic. Your takeaway from it is just that Gold Roger was there. He made it all the way up to Skypia, and he has a lot to do with the poneglyphs, and you suspect that he knows what happened in the blank century. Because if he made it all the way to the end, he's gathered all of them, or has seen all the poneglyphs. So he knows.
Has the complete message.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. Chilling.
Right.
Chilling to say the least.
So yeah, that was the coolest part, I think, on this episode.
Yes.
And the Sky People, they want to give the Straw Hats, one of the support beams from the bell is broken off.
Yeah, they want to give them a gift to thank them. So they're like, oh, well, this beam broke off, so let's just give you this giant gold beam.
Right. And I think they say something like, we hear it's very valuable, like, down there.
Right, you'll like this gold stuff.
Right. They don't care about the gold.
They don't care, which is funny because early in the episode, they were trying to secretly steal the gold, which is like, they don't
care about it.
They don't need it. They just want, land, soil. So yeah, they take that.
Yeah. So they're taking that. All of them are carrying this super heavy beam towards the Straw Hats, who are waiting for Robin with all their treasure that they took out of the snake. And when they see them coming, they're like, oh no, they figured out that we're taking the gold.
Right.
And now they're carrying a cannon. And they just want to battle.
They just think there's more battles coming, and like they're here to attack them, and they just assume that the big old gold thing is a cannon and freak out. And then so they start like running off, and the people carrying the gold beam are like, do they want it?
Yeah.
And Robin's like, guess not.
Guess not. Sorry, bye.
So you're just like, oh, you guys, Straw Hats.
Right. They just wanted to say thank you.
They just want to say thank you, and like you could have had all this gold, and no, you just flipped out and ran away.
Yeah.
And
Luffy's yelling like, Robin, we took all this gold.
I know. And you're just
like, guys, just listen.
And then Robin's just like, you know what? Nah, just gonna roll with it.
Bye. And that's where the episode ends, in a very Straw Hat manner.
Very epitome of Straw Hats. Yes.
Moving on to episode 195, Off to the Blue Sea, a heartfelt finale.
Oh.
So the crew's running towards the ship in their escape, quote unquote. And we see a little moment with Isa and Laki where Isa is getting a haircut. Laki's telling her, now that the war is over, she can just enjoy life and be a proper lady. And it goes to show all the things that these people probably went through. Like this kid has probably, I don't know, how old should Isa be? Maybe 6 or 7?
Yeah, I don't know. She's very young. Yeah, something like that.
So she spent all her life in wartime.
Yeah.
Like she hasn't had a chance to just be a kid.
Yeah. And now suddenly the war's ending, and like what does that mean for everyone?
Yeah.
Like what kind of new lives are in store for them?
And also,
cool.
I want to mention, where is Isa's mom on this? Because she was not here. I mentioned this in the last episode.
Okay.
She wasn't here the whole time. And then in the last batch of episodes, when Skypiea is under attack by Eneru, suddenly this woman comes and she's Isa's mom. And she's like, oh, I'm worried about Isa. I don't know where she is. And I'm like, lady, where did you come from?
Where have you been?
Isa's been running around like for 15 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
And now the war is over and Laki's giving Isa a haircut. Where's her mom?
Where's the mom now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just wanted to mention that. I don't know what the point of Isa's mom was.
I don't know.
This whole time I just thought she was an orphan and everybody took care of her.
Man, that's crazy.
But she's not, guys. She's got a mom.
She's got a mom. She's good. She's good. So now she's just super happy, and so are the Straw Hats. They are on their way, and they're trying to head to Cloud's End, which apparently is like the exit for all of the clouds, like for Skypiea.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like a slide.
It's a water park slide.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
At least in the beginning. Oh my gosh. So they say they're like really heartfelt goodbyes to Konis and her father, which honestly I got a little teary-eyed. Just thinking like they were probably never gonna come back to Skypiea again, or it's not likely.
Yeah, it's not likely.
Just because it's so hard to get there, and they just have to leave and just be like bye.
Yeah,
and so they're going through this thing, and you're sitting here wondering like, okay, how are they going to get back down? What is this going to be like? And you think at first oh, it's just going to be a cute little like cloud slide all the way back down. But you're also wondering like, how the heck does that make sense? Because couldn't people just like climb up or something? You know? And then you find out that it's just a free fall.
It's just a free fall. It's basically a slide, just like that slide that I hate on water parks.
Yes.
You know which one I mean?
I know. It's
just
it's a vertical drop. And it's just you and
I don't see how that's
gravity. Yeah. No. If you had an octopus balloon with you, you'd be A-okay.
Yes.
Because that's what Konis does. She summons a giant octopus, which, where does this thing come from?
I have no idea. It comes from the slide. Does it live there?
Does it live there? How did it get so much air inside its little octopus body?
Will it be able to come back and help someone else come down?
Do they just like produce these octopi? Like how? And why would they have a mechanism to reach the ground? I don't know. I get too lost in.
And then they call it with a
with a whistle.
She calls it with a whistle.
With a whistle. It's like a doggy. So funny.
So do they train all this octopus?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
We'll never know.
You know what? But it's a very beautiful grand octopus, and it grabs onto the boat, and they're all floating down, and it's super cute.
Yes.
Until Luffy decides that he's going to go jump on this poor, sweet creature.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Why, Luffy? This is one of those instances where Luffy is just doing things because they're fun.
He's being a Luffy.
He's being Luffy. Yeah. And he's not thinking that if it's a balloon, it's got air in it. And if it's got air in it, if you jump on it, the air is going to come out.
And I mean, and granted, the octopus was already losing the air a little bit, but as you know, they were going, but like, I definitely think that Luffy exacerbated it a bit, like just really pushed out all the air of this poor thing. And so suddenly they fall. And then Usopp does that really cool thing. Like, he got all those dials for a reason.
And he saves the day, which doesn't happen a lot. But I do realize something, and is that Usopp doesn't play when it comes to the Mary. Like,
yes.
Like, if the Mary is in danger, like that's the most important thing for Usopp. So when they're just free falling, Usopp is just losing his ish. He's like,
I love that you say that because that is such an important thing. Is his love for that ship, and I mean it's because it was given to him by his old childhood friend.
Yeah,
so it makes sense. But yeah, he will do anything to protect that ship.
And so he puts. Right? He puts
the little air dials.
A lot of air dials under it. He sort of breaks the fall a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. But it works. Good job, Usopp. At the end, we see that they land at a marine base. We see like all the lights. It's during the night. So they just fall on the ocean and they're like, where are we? And suddenly all these lights
come on. And they're like, oh no, where are they? Yeah, and then you realize like, oh, you just landed in like the worst place possible. Good job, guys. There was one cool thing though, real quick, that we missed is in this point, they do cut over to show Cricket and how he's telling them he cuts off the search for the gold because they know like the Gold City, everything that's all in the sky. He has his answers, and so that's when he tells his friends like, let's pursue another dream. So once again, the dream theme. Oh. Yes, so his dream is done, so now they're going to pursue another one. And if I remember correctly, I believe I heard somewhere they're heading to an island of dreams. I think that was in the manga somewhere possibly. I don't know.
I don't remember.
But either way, they're heading towards a new dream.
Yeah, towards a new dream. It's a great thing about dreams. You can just pursue another one.
Right.
Once you're done.
Right, there's always more. Yay!
So I want to introduce you guys again to Jonna, who works here at Funimation.
Hi.
Welcome, Jonna. Jonna was with us on episode 5. For those of you who don't remember, Jonna's going to reintroduce herself.
Hi, guys. I'm Jonna. I'm the senior copywriter here at Funimation, which means I work on basically writing all the words and emails and ads that we put out for our marketing efforts. It's myself and a team, and we make a lot of puns, basically. And part of our job is to watch the anime too. So it's a cool gig. It's a cool gig.
That's great. And you're a super One Piece fan.
I sure am. I'm a big One Piece fan, and I also love stories and storytelling kind of stuff. And so I'm here to contribute what I can.
Yay! So let's get to it. So welcome back. My name is Jocelyn M. Rios, and this week I am going to continue my mission of training my dog as well as Holy was trained.
Wow. a
Make
noble
her box
mission.
a little. No, just kidding.
What? I was going to say, what?
Just kidding. I just want her to sit.
That's it. Just one thing.
Just sit. Just lay down. Just do what I tell you, girl.
Hey, I believe in your dreams.
Thank you, Jonna.
My name is Jonna, and I'm on a mission to get more sleep.
Yay! Just as last time. You've been on that.
Yes, same as last time. Still on that.
Have you been successful?
Actually, last night I was.
Yay!
I even had a dream, like a long dream, where you remember it the next day. And you're
Those are great, and you feel rested when you wake up. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm jealous right now.
Dreams achieved. Literally. Wow.
That's great. Let's move on to episode 196. A state of emergency is issued. A notorious pirate ship has infiltrated.
Oh no.
Oh no. They landed in the worst possible place, as we see. And I think this is a filler arc, right?
Yeah, this is a filler arc. This is not part of the manga.
Okay.
I want to start this by saying, One Piece filler arcs are actually really wonderful.
Yeah.
Of all the kind of filler arcs that are out there, One Piece does a good job. And they really use it as an opportunity to kind of show their stuff.
Yeah.
There's some things I'll point out that are, neat, moving forward, that are super cool about this arc.
The guys fall. We don't know where it is yet, but we know it's definitely a marine base of some kind. We sort of see it this time from the other side. We see the Marines just doing their stuff,
right?
And a ship falls.
Yes,
suddenly.
Yeah. No, I love this because, like, this episode, what's special about it is, yeah, you're right. They do take it from the perspective of sort of the Marines this time. You don't always get to see that in the typical One Piece episodes. And they get to do a lot more military things.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, since I was watching the dub this time, I'm not quite as fresh on what the sub did, but the dub definitely, you know, took some liberties, such as it opened up on a military cadence, which is the, I don't know what I've been told, that sort of thing. Like, you know, they threw that in there, and that's so militaristic, like just so neat.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it might be different in the sub. Of course,
it might be. I don't
Japanese.
know. Yes, yeah, and they fall on this military base, and it's G8. So much hilarity ensues. There's so much humor in this episode. It's great.
So it starts basically. The Marines think that the ship is a ghost ship at first because when they board the ship, no one's there.
Right.
So,
they know it's a Straw Hat ship because they see the Jolly Roger. But yeah, no one's there. But there was like hands or like these random things that just, you know, we know they're Robin's hands, and you're just like, you know, creeping them out. They just think, oh, it must be a ghost ship. And they go to their, what is it, the commander? Who's their leader? Commander Jonathan, I believe his name is.
Is it Commander Jonathan? I really don't know his name because I never heard it. I never heard it, and I am banned from Googling anything One Piece related, so I don't get spoilers.
Really? Oh, well, that is fair. That is very fair.
I don't know his name. I never catched it.
I did catch it in the, at one point, I do believe they call him Commander Jonathan in the dub. And it's a little bit interesting, too, because I believe, who is it? Someone tweeted, there's speculation that his name possibly came from something called Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which is the name of a magazine that was being, or of a series of stories that were being published in a magazine in the 60s. So there was a joke that he was named because the Marine symbol is a gull. So that's where the seagull came from. So then it's a joke, like, was it Jonathan Livingston Seagull? Was it from that? We don't know. Okay. This is mostly just like, who knows? It could be anything. Oda. We don't even know. Did he even name it? I'm not sure. But
that's interesting, though, that his name is Jonathan, because I think after Eric, that's the first Western, simple, normal name.
Yeah,
we've seen so far.
Because there's him, and then I believe the name of the chef that we see later is Chef Jessica.
Yes, Jessica.
Yes. So we get some Western names on this one, that's kind of a treat.
Refreshing.
Yeah, it's refreshing, you know.
So the crew basically just left the ship as soon as they realized where they were, and they all got separated. Like, we see Chopper's in the forest, Robin and Usopp are together, I think, and Zoro's in the water. I don't remember where Nami is. But yeah, everybody's, all scattered. Robin does her oreja floor, which I love.
Cool. Yeah. Such a cool power. She can just hear people. Yes. She just gets ears on her hands and I'm gonna listen to you, and just puts her hand behind him.
I love how all of her powers are a Spanish word.
Yes.
And flor.
Really? Yeah.
It's like oreja dos. I don't remember what else she's used. But as soon as I heard oreja flor, I was like, oh, what's another Spanish word. Oreja is ear.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So ear flower.
Yeah. So yeah, basically she grows ears on her hands that she can just listen.
So cool. And that's when she hears the Marines saying that they think it's a ghost ship, and she's like, we can use this, to our advantage.
Yes. She also knows that they know there's at least 4 more people with Zoro and Luffy, so she's gathering some intel. Chopper's inside in a barrel somehow. I don't know how he got there. I really don't know.
Who knows?
And yeah, they all basically trying to find out how to get out of there before they try to do anything, because they don't know where they are. Luffy's the only one who's not concentrated on that at all. He's just looking for food.
Yeah, obviously. Of course. That's all he wants is the food.
And he starts following, he does this funny bit.
Oh my gosh.
Where he starts following this soldier. And when he looks back, he's just hiding behind the soldier again, and Sanji's looking at him like, "What are you doing?"
What are you doing? Yes. No. Every time the soldier hears him behind him, the soldier turns around, and then like Luffy's dodged it, and stayed behind him. Aww. And this is the thing about the filler episodes. Like they throw in things like Luffy turns around and like just like does the little peace sign thing as you're going by, like to the camera, and like I mean, normal episodes do some stuff like that, but not always. Like you kind of just sit there and wonder how much of this is just, are they just throwing in more stuff because they can?
Yeah.
You kind of never really know.
That's true.
But it is very cool.
Yeah, I like that we get a lot of more silly stuff.
You get a lot more silly stuff. And the my thought behind that is because, the humor in One Piece is built to be read in a manga. But the thing about humor is that pacing is key. Mm-hmm. So if it's built for the pacing of being read, I don't think it can always be easily translated into an anime. How does that joke land?
Yeah.
So when you're able to create a story that is based on or built for being viewed, you can pace the jokes for viewers.
Exactly.
For viewing it. So they land like, ooh, there's more packed in there.
Yeah.
And it's just an added flavor of humor that you don't always get. Mm-hmm. It's just so good. Yeah. I love it.
I totally
love
agree.
it.
Yeah, and I think that's where this episode ends, as Sanji finds Luffy his shenanigans with the soldier.
Yes. 197. Sanji the cook, proving his merit at the Marine Dining Hall. And that he does.
I really like this episode. I really like Sanji cooking episodes.
It's so fun. This was literally like, a big old bake-off, like cooking show. Like one of those like really cool cooking shows that you like to sit and watch at home. And like, no, that was this, but One Piece version.
Definitely.
With Sanji.
I think the last one we had like this was, and I think it was another filler episode, when they meet the Marine cook and he goes and helps him make a curry or something like that. And that was right after Alabasta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we get a little, cook show recipe of curry.
Yes, yeah. There's so many scenes of him like cooking something, and you're just all I know is like I just want to eat his food.
Yeah,
I just want to eat the food that Sanji makes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we see him. Well, first it starts off. We see Nami, and she's just like sweeping away. She's trying to be a little janitor, like
blend in
and stuff. It was really cool. I think in the last episode forgot to mention this, but that Commander Jonathan, like his whole thing is he's really clever. Mm-hmm. Very clever. And there's one point when he turns around and tells his soldiers, like, stay on the lookout for people, like, in disguise. And you think, because it's funny how he calls this out. They do that a lot in these episodes. They call out things which you think are typical tropes.
Yeah.
That, of course, it's an infiltration episode, so of course they're going to go in disguise and stuff. The commander straight up calls that out.
Yeah.
And is like, hey, that could happen.
Yeah.
But here we are. It still happens anyway. And Nami manages to make it work. And she's already disguising herself as, like, several key players in their, in their team. And yeah, that's when she runs into these two cooks who we apparently hear, some Marine ships have to enter into their base. Mm-hmm. And that's when we see, there's actually a way out of this island.
Yeah.
Because we thought it was all closed in. Nami was like, how do we get out of here? It's all closed in. But we see it's a big old wall that they have.
Yes.
And so these cooks come in on that ship, and they're supposed to be from Mary Joie and be like these fancy pants chefs. And who are really full of themselves. Yes, fancy, they speak so fancy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's when we start to piece together like what's going to happen later with Sanji and Luffy.
Yes. So Nami also meets Zoro, who's just wandering around the base without any caution at all.
Nothing,
not
not
trying
at all.
to hide. He's
just lost.
Like, he's just lost. And talking out loud. And Nami's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Do you want to get captured? And it's no wonder, like, he eventually gets captured at the end of this episode, I feel. So she's like, okay, just wait. I think she puts him outside.
Yeah, she throws his swords out over the balcony.
She should have known better.
I know.
He's not going to do well without his swords.
No.
And she leaves him. Mm-hmm. And we go back to Sanji and Luffy, who dressed up as cooks. And are hiding in the kitchen. And when they see them, the other cooks see them, they think it's these two cooks who were supposed to come.
Yes, they think they're the fancy guys.
Yeah.
And they're like, this group of cooks and chefs, they are so ready to challenge like Sanji and Luffy to a duel, like basically of cooking. Like they're so ready to like just like, are you really worthy of being one of us? Like, are you really like that great?
Yeah.
And I mean, this Chef Jessica lady, like she definitely, she's like, I see her as like a female Sanji. Like she's just very like into the food and stuff and cooking and like just being a really cool lady, telling people how to cook.
Yeah. They come up with this contest and they have to each make 100 meals. The Marines were going to decide which were better. So the cooks prepare 100 meals. They get all the best ingredients from the table and they prepare like this very nice looking meal. And Sanji looks at them like, you don't even know like what you're doing. You're wasting all this food. And Sanji makes this whole very detailed and prepared meal with what's left.
Right. He takes their leftovers and makes the meal with it.
Yeah.
Just as a kind of like a like in your face.
Yes. And I love how he goes like through the whole process. Like
I know,
he chops it all up and then he's like, and now you have to like make like the balls that are gonna go
Justin's over
stew.
Here like being a little chef, like
you
rolling
can't
your hands.
see this, but I'm making the meatball rolling motion with my hands.
Yes.
He makes a stew and as he's doing it, I'm imagining how that tastes. Like those fish balls.
Yeah.
Like, because he fries them, right?
He fries them
first, and then he puts them in the stew, and I'm like, oh my God, that has to be delicious.
I want to eat it. Oh, yeah. No, it looks so good. And yeah, and he basically pulls a Sanji. His whole thing about cooking is like never waste anything, you know, always feed everyone if you can and not waste food. That's his whole shtick. And he just kind of throws that back in their faces in an epic way where they're just like, oh, yes, you're right. We're not worthy. Well, of course, Luffy cleans up the rest.
Yeah.
You know, he takes care of all the extra 100 meals by himself. And everyone's just like, what are you?
He eats all of them and he counts them too.
Yeah, he's counting it as he's doing it. You're just like, okay, show off.
Yeah, and we see Fat Luffy, you know how he gets when he eats too much.
He just extends.
I was worried at first when this whole bit began because I was thinking of how Luffy failed as a busboy on the Baratie.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, is this going to be a repeat of the Baratie?
A repeat? Oh my God.
But he did just a tiny bit better here.
He did a little better. Yeah.
Tiny bit.
I mean, I would say Sanji just did such an awesome job that they were just like, well, okay.
Exactly. He didn't have to do a lot.
Y'all can join our crew. So that was neat. But then we see the commander, you know, he's out looking for the Straw Hats. He knows they're there. He doesn't think it's a ghost ship. He knows these guys are around. And that's when he spots Zoro trying to get his swords. And
And basically he just falls down after the swords. He goes underwater, right, to get them.
Yeah.
And when he comes up.
Well, he's crushed by a rock.
Oh, right.
And then, underwater. And you think he's going to die. And then he comes up for air. And it's even worse because he's captured.
Yeah. Which we knew would happen because Zoro. And don't forget you can watch all of One Piece anime on Funimation.com/One Piece or on the Funimation Now app. And check out our blog at funny.to/One Piece podcast for all the info on the binge routes, maps, character, synopses, everything that you need to know. Episode 198. Captured Zoro, Chopper's emergency operations. Yay, a Chopper episode.
Chopper.
I love Chopper.
I love it. I love, basically at this point, this is when you kind of start to realize that the filler is just kind of going to cycle through most of the main characters and give them like a moment to shine.
Yes.
Which is super awesome because, you know, you don't get to see them doing like the accessory moves and gifts that they have as much.
I agree because there wasn't any time for Sanji to cook
to cook and just exactly.
Zoro's captured and he's getting interrogated. And he actually being cooperative, like he's saying, hey, like we fell down from the sky on an octopus. Like he's telling the truth. Yeah.
And this guy's like, I call BS. And he's like, okay, but really that's what we did.
Yep.
Just Zoro.
So Nami is still being a janitor.
Right. She's stuck in that role.
She gets an assignment to clean the gym, which is very, very big. And she's like, okay, no, I need a new disguise.
Yeah, no, new disguise. And she picks an even worse one, which is the nurse disguise, because she's just, as we're going to find out soon enough, she's going to get stuck in just even more trouble.
Yes.
So this is when we find Chopper, like, he's hiding behind a crate of deer antlers.
Yeah.
And at first you're like looking at this crate and you're like, why do they have deer antlers? And even, but this is the thing, that's the humor. Even the guys are like, why are there deer antlers?
Yeah. And I think one says that they use it for medicine or something.
Yeah. So,
and yeah, I was surprised that Chopper wasn't a little weirded out.
You would think. Like, antlers.
Where are the deer that is supposed to be attached to these antlers?
Maybe I like to think in One Piece that maybe the deer just shed their entire antlers off and they just grow more and they're completely okay.
That's what happened.
That's not what happened. Let me dream. He escapes, being noticed by these people, but he ends up in the infirmary where there's this doctor who is afraid of blood. Like, tremendously afraid.
Yes.
And you're like,
I was wondering, why are you a doctor?
How did you get this job? And she even says, this isn't my specialty. I'm just like a pediatrician.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is a pediatrician doing?
Babies bleed, I feel.
Right. But how does a pediatrician get to a military base?
Right. Whoa. Like, I hadn't even thought about that. Whoa. Why do we have a pediatrician here? That is a great question.
Why are you here?
There are no babies in the Marines.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Okay, so this just sets her up for disaster when, those ships that came in, military ships that got in earlier, they have a bunch of, like, injured Marines on them. And they're like,
None of them babies.
Injured babies.
None of them were babies.
Not a one.
Not one.
They bring them in there, and they're like, they need surgery. And of course, this doctor, she's like frozen.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do. She's like freaking out. And then Chopper just is Chopper. And he just, poor Chopper, he cannot just stand there and just let people die. So
no. Chopper takes his doctor oath, right?
Yeah,
his doctor's oath. He takes it very seriously. And he's like, I can't just watch as people die when I'm here.
Right.
I can't just let them die. So he disguises himself as a doctor. And he takes his human form.
Like Dr. Jekyll. Like, like Mr. Hyde, like that. It just like, it looks so scary.
It does. It's just him on his giant human form with a white coat and glasses and a mustache.
And the mustache, the necessary mustache.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't think he's a doctor or a person without the mustache.
Of course. The mustache makes all the difference, Jonna. Like,
it does, clearly.
It doesn't matter that he just has fur and pants.
Right, that's fine. But I only trust doctors with mustaches.
Definitely.
So
yeah, and he helps guide Dr. Kobato through the surgery.
That ends up being a success. Like, thank goodness that Chopper was there, and he's not even the one doing it. He's the one encouraging the doctor to do that, and to
he's sort of guiding her.
He gives her the little story of the cherry blossoms and his whole spiel, which is cute, and that's really sweet.
Yes, and Nami's assisting with the operation, which I was wondering, how does she know how to assist an operation anyway?
For real.
But she is. They're Nami's like scalpel, awesome. And she's like scalpel, Nami suction, and she's like suctioning blood. I'm like, how do you even know what to do?
Yeah. And I think there was even one point where Nami was like, how does the doctor not even notice Chopper's transformation? I'm pretty sure there's one point where she called it out. She's like, how's that not been noticed? I think there was even one point when they're like walking into the operating room when the guys on the side were like, who was that dude? He was huge. Like, what? Who was it?
Yeah, and I think some people actually come inside and ask about it.
They do.
And the doctor's like, hey, we're operating here. Like,
right? She's just telling them like, no, like she doesn't even like care like what Chopper's thing is. She's just trying to save these people. So yeah, she tells them off.
Yes.
So, I mean, at this point, you can tell the military, like, they're onto it. They're onto, Luffy's group, and they're just figuring it out. which is what I love. I mean, they're just that's what's cool about the writing is like they definitely keep like going after them and like calling out tropes and then also just like putting up a really smart fight. You know, they're figuring each other out and like figuring out where the Straw Hats are and just like not giving up, which is it's really cool.
So now it's time for our social question, which we make every week on our social channels. On Facebook at One Piece Official and Twitter at One Piece Anime. The question was, how did you feel at the end of the Skypiea arc? And we got a lot of different answers. Sean Kamikaze says, Eneru is my second favorite character. So I was a little sad at first until the moon.
There you go.
So there you go.
So he knows. He knows the story.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But he knew the story. Good for you.
Yeah, good for you,
Sean. Somebody put Eneru's face, the one we were talking about.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you.
That is a great face when Eneru finds out that Luffy is rubber.
and cannot be defeated by his mighty lightning.
Rainer Abreu says, it was so satisfying. What a great story with interesting characters. The pieces all came together in such a way that it made me so happy.
Aww.
That's great. Alex Minton says, one of my favorite arcs, if not my favorite. The nuance of the story, especially with Cricket and Wiper, is just very touching. Which is true. The story is very touching and what it means for everybody.
Yeah.
I feel. On Twitter, Didi Nux says, I love it. Wiper using the reject dial to knock down Giant Jack and Nami helping Luffy with the waiver. Luffy somehow realizing he could get rid of the lightning ball with his gold ball and the final golden rifle attack. It was all just awesome. It was really awesome.
It was.
Honestly.
Very accurate.
And Gob says, some don't like it because they feel it doesn't add to the overarching story as much as other arcs. I feel the world building far outweighs this. It can be seen as a microcosm for the story as a whole, perfectly encapsulating the feeling of adventure that makes One Piece special. Wow, that's a great answer.
Very thoughtful and very true. I think so too.
Wow, you guys, there's so many good answers. Well, somebody says, I don't know how to read your name, but you put an amazing baby gif that I am showing Jonna right now.
Yes!
So I just want to mention,
so cute.
Thank you, whoever you are, for putting that
and it
baby
said,
gif
I am proud of Luffy.
In there. That says, I was proud of Luffy.
So cute.
It's great.
The baby gif wins. The Marine, the baby Marine.
Zach Wetterling says, I felt like the sky was no longer the limit. It reminded us of the endless possibilities of the One Piece world. Hashtag Goda.
What did it say?
Hashtag Goda. Is that a thing? Like for Oda and God? I feel that's what he wants to say.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. Sorry, I don't know that one.
Well, thank you everybody for your answers. They were all great. So keep on the lookout for next week's social question on our channels, Facebook, One Piece Official, and Twitter, One Piece Anime.
The Marine's dragnet closes in. The second member captured.
Ooh, somebody's gonna go in with Zoro.
He won't be alone anymore.
No.
Okay, do you remember on podcast episode 5, I ended it with explaining a little bit about, the directors and how that changes?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a cool thing about this episode. When I was first watching these scenes with Robin and Usopp, if you look at it, if you really pay attention to the animation, there's things about it that are just so beautiful and well done. So Robin and Usopp are like under the trees right now, and if you I personally just really loved the way you could see like they'd have like shadows and stuff on their face and like that would move and everything, and certain things like the way Robin turned around a tree and was like looking at it, just the motions. You start to notice like something's different about this episode. I felt that way. I looked it up. It's very interesting. The director on this episode, I believe, is Mamoru Hosoda. So Hosoda is responsible for Wolf Children and The Boy and the Beast. And this is the one episode of One Piece, as far as I'm aware of, that he's ever been a director on.
So that's why there's all these visual
I don't know
things,
for
maybe?
sure, but
that's so interesting.
But because this is the one and only episode that he's ever been on, and I immediately just kind of noticed it, I thought maybe there's a connection. I don't know. I want to ask the fans, like, do you notice any difference in the episodes ever? Like, do you ever sense anything? Like, do watch this episode and like,
let us know.
You see it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Robin and Usopp are together, and Robin is trying to collect as much knowledge as she can before trying to come up with a plan and head inside the base, which is a smart thing to do. But Usopp's getting desperate. Usopp's like, they have the Mary, and I can't wait. I need to find it. So he just leaves Robin and goes by himself and tries to, just infiltrate it by himself. And
a great idea, Usopp. Great job.
Exactly. Because everything goes well when you do that.
Every time.
And meanwhile, so we see that a visitor from headquarters is here, and it's this inspector that's supposed to check on the base, right?
Right.
And Robin traps him in one of the hallways, and she just knocks him out and takes his badge.
And his outfit.
And his outfit, right. So I was like, wait, so you're going to dress up as this guy and nobody's going to know? But that's exactly what happens. I was like, okay. Meanwhile, we go back. This is where Luffy the busboy comes out to play. So we go back to the kitchen, and the commander has been hearing this great things about the new cook's food, right? So he wants to try it. Sanji's preparing the food for the commander, and Luffy thinks it looks delicious and offers to take it to the commander. I'm like, do not give it to Luffy, please.
Why would you trust him with Luffy? Why?
Why?
Why? But they send it off with him.
They do.
I don't know if you noticed that at this point, like, that's when we realized that the commander and the chef are married.
Yes.
Did you catch that part?
Yes.
I thought it was so cute. I was like, oh, they're married. So that's why, like, he didn't want to insult her, but he wanted to try this new food.
Yes.
So here comes Luffy with his plate.
And
he
his
brings
face.
it to him.
I like his face, like, just a happy, serene, I'm not doing anything face. And I'm like, you're up to something.
Right. Just perfectly, like a sommelier. Just perfect. Just he knows what he's doing. And leaves his plate with him. And then, the guy is like, okay, you're dismissed. And he just, like, backs off in the corner. You would think he would leave. No. He just stands by the door. And this guy's like, oh, yeah, eating the food. So great. And stabbing it with a fork. And then it's all gone.
Yeah.
What happened?
Suddenly there's less food than it should be.
Of course, in the most Luffy way possible, like, he discovers, oh, this is one of the Straw Hats.
Yeah,
this is Luffy.
Luffy's been stretching his hand and just getting the balls off of his plate.
Just a handy power. Not gonna lie.
No, definitely.
There's times when I want to reach over and like, oh, I'll try some of that over there. Don't mind me reaching.
The commander realizes it's Luffy, and he keeps all serene, and he's like, well, you can have the food. I just want to know, what are you doing here?
Right.
Because your motives, he knows about other things that the Straw Hats have done, right? He knows about Alabasta and whatnot, and he's like, your motives are not clear to me. Like, I don't understand. What's your motivation?
Right. That's something that's so clever about this guy. You see him playing with, like, chess pieces a lot. So it shows that he's actually, like, very smart, and he's very much of sort of strategic commander.
Yes.
And so, he really wants to know, like, what Luffy's motive is. Of course, Luffy is like, oh, I can just leave whenever.
Yeah.
Like, it's all good. Like, there's no motive. There's nothing. And it blows this guy's mind.
And he's not worried at all. Like, as Luffy being Luffy always. Like, he's just, what, I can just leave whenever I want. And the commander is baffled. He's like, do you really think you can just leave whenever you want? So Sanji is looking from the kitchen, and he realizes what's happening. He's like, okay, our cover's blown. We need to get out of here. But they're surrounded, right? There's all these cooks, and the commander is there also. But luckily, I don't know if it's lunch or dinner, but all the cooks come in to eat.
Yes.
And
all the Marines and everyone, they come in to eat food and, like, bust in. And then, luckily, like, Luffy and Sanji are, saved by the lunch rush or whatever it is. But, like, I literally, like, in that moment, I was like, okay, so this commander, like, he is actually, like, a pretty important commander. If you look at the, like, decorations on his uniform and stuff, I think he might be a vice admiral. I don't know it for sure, but if he is a vice admiral, that puts him possibly on the same ranks as Garp.
All right. Like, Garp is the one with the dog head, right?
Luffy's grandpa. Yeah, possibly. Who knows? I don't know this for sure. If he is, then what is he doing letting these guys get away in the middle of a lunch rush?
Right.
How the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, like, can't you at least tell your guys to, like, hey, you bozos, just stop what you're doing.
And catch
these guys. But I guess not.
But they escape. And back to Usopp, he somehow manages to find the Mary. The submarines spot him as he's talking to the guy who repairs ships.
Yes, yeah. So there's a shipwright there who like seems really knowledgeable. I think he kind of just gets it. He knows.
You think so?
I don't know. He just seems like a wise old guy.
Yeah.
Like wouldn't he just? Yeah. I don't know. Or like he.
And it's very strange that this guy just comes in and really likes this ship in particular.
Yeah, basically, and he's just kind of like rolling with it. I don't know. I like that guy, honestly. I was just like, he's cool.
Usopp doesn't want to say his real name.
No.
Because he's afraid that they'll know who he is. But then they think that he might be the inspector they're waiting for. And then he just really goes in and leans into it.
He just leans into that. He's like, yeah.
Inspector Usopp.
I was the inspector all along. And like really making a fool trying to make a fool out of them.
Yeah.
Until Robin shows up.
Yeah, the real
quote,
unquote,
inspector. And since she's got, the little license and the garb, I'm sure like she looks way more believable. Yeah. And she straight up like just throws Usopp under the bus. Yes. And he's like tell them you know me. I'm the inspector. And she's like, nope, I've never seen him.
Never seen him in my life.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for being you. Oh my gosh.
I was just surprised that they didn't recognize that she was a woman.
Yeah, I know, because like isn't the I don't
right
know.
The ID?
Maybe they have a question.
She's wearing just glasses.
Yeah, her really cool sunglasses.
Yeah, really cool sunglasses. And
she's just too cool for school. Yeah. They couldn't ask it.
Yeah. Yeah, Usopp gets thrown in jail with Zoro.
Yes.
Zoro says something, and I don't know if this is true, but he tells Usopp that Robin probably knew that he'd be safer with him than
which is so sweet.
Which is sweet. And I also feel like if I'd been Robin, if I say that this guy's the inspector, then I'm going to have to vouch for him. And it's Usopp, okay? So he's probably going to mess up at some point, and he's going to bring me down with him.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, you're better off in jail. We'll come get you guys later.
Yes, yeah. I think Robin is just like, and this will just, kill two birds with one stone. Just keep these guys here together.
And that way I'll know where you are.
Right, I'll know where you are. I'll come get you. Like, who knows what her plan is. But we can definitely trust it because it's Robin. She's very smart.
Right before the episode end, we see the commander just moving chess pieces, right?
Yes,
and he's like sort of going through everybody, like Luffy, Sanji, Nami. So he knows about everyone, and he knows they're all there, and he's just waiting, like, what's the next move?
So it's really cool. I guess I just really like this commander because his whole thing, like, he seems very clever, and he's always trying to stay one step ahead of the Straw Hats. And like sometimes like you don't always feel that tension in the show. You don't always feel like there's someone just at their heels or like is going to outsmart them. You're more just like wondering what's going to happen next. But this commander is really clever. Usually they're more like, they show more kind of silly commanders or very like, full of themselves or whatever. True. And then this one's more calm, collected, and very smart. We did mention Adventure of Nebulandia and Kome, who's some sort of military commander in that one. He is really smart. So if you do like this sort of trope of just the Straw Hats stuck on an island and just being like outwitted, that's Adventure of Nebulandia too. Like you'll get that there.
That's great. And I think that's the end of this episode.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Wow.
Predictions for the future. I don't know. I mean, it's a filler arc, so I know probably have more silliness to go. I don't know how many episodes are left in the arc either. I'm guessing it's a short one. Usually, like filler arcs. I'm using Apis as a guide, sorta. So the Apis arc was maybe a few more episodes, maybe 4 more episodes. So yeah, we're gonna see. I hope we see though, like a little bit more of what the commander can do against. I feel it has to be a little harder for the Straw Hats, and they already know where the Mary is, and basically everyone's either together or they know where the others are.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like could be a difficult escape, I feel, as long as they figure out how to open the door. So I'm guessing they have to, you know, I don't know, have a trial of some kind.
Honestly, like, yeah, it's, who knows? Like, at this point, I know that it's, the filler episodes won't last too much longer. But yeah, they do have to somehow, like, get through the wall and out into the open ocean.
Right.
As well as getting gathered together.
Right.
How in the world?
Without all of these Marines following them.
Exactly.
We'll see how they manage. So we hope you enjoyed this One Piece at a Time episode. Don't forget to check out the Funimation blog at funny.to/One Piece podcast, which will be updated constantly with the binge routes, maps, and everything you need to know. Also head to our shop at funimation.com/shop and add One Piece home video to your collection. And for all things One Piece, follow us on Facebook at One Piece Official and Twitter at One Piece Anime.
We want to thank the people who make this podcast happen: the creator of One Piece, Oda Sensei, Toei Animation, the audio engineers, and of course, everyone joining us on this journey, all you Straw Hats out there listening. Also, please rate this podcast wherever you're listening to it and share it with other One Piece Nakamas.
The next One Piece at a Time will cover anime episodes 200 to 207, so be sure to watch on Funimation now, subbed or dubbed, and be ready.
Yeah. See ya!